place finish.
Fighter emblem again for Keller and actually going for Spell Vamp. With the Festival of Blood this time around, really want to maximize what he can get through his skills. Let's see if that'll work out well for him. Pretty sure the itemization is still going to be the same with the basic attack focus.
Yeah. I mean, for Claude, there's always that late game insurance, which is good. But again, with the economy of the gold lane, getting cut down by quite a lot, it definitely isn't easy, right, to farm out as a late game marksman, which is why it takes a lot longer for heroes like Claude and Carry and Moskov to come online. And by the time that happens, or it's already too late, and it's worse if you get snowballed on.
Yeah. Not a debut pick here for Randy on this Alice, although he does have one recorded loss with it. ONIC PH. Yes, struggling.
Yeah, again, a lot of that burden will be on King Kong. Although Kirk will be able to also contribute to that once he gets that final slash online. Comes down to how Key is gonna work to stop. You have a couple of targets you're looking for: Brusco, Kirk. Ideally, if you can catch Super Friends without the Purify, that would be great too. But this lineup that EVOS has also is tailored to a very specific task that they are very good at, which is jumping King Kong and taking him out of the fight.
They're going to need to do that if they want a little bit easier time here, but you don't need to because Randy, look at single-handedly zoning out King Kong.
He's going to get that damage reduction from the Throne of Ruin. King Kong even had to trace us back just in case. Albert, though, not having the exact same experience. Kirk jumps him, and that will be Super Friends getting that first blood. They do trade Brusco in return, and Sohilo gets a double kill. Double lift back from Super Friends. Key is going to jump onto him. Randy able to get away. Kelra now joins with the blazing duet. Sohilo out of position. No flicker. Kelra will collect the kill, and Erlan now looks for a trade. Key able to solo King Kong, and Erlan guns down both Prince and Kelra. EVOS essentially gets a delayed team wipe. They should be able to walk away with the turtle. Good stuff from Albert. They still want to fight. Kirk and Brusco hold the front. Albert will just dance away.
What a scramble for the very first turtle of the game, meaning that EVOS will walk away with a 5-2 kill lead. Longer team fights working out well for them. Erlan surviving and Kelra not ended up becoming the main difference maker there for EVOS. Now it's the White Tigers with the lead. They can build off of this, but it's not as considerable a lead as they would want to get. Still, ONIC PH within range to turn things around for them eventually. They just have to be careful for the later entries of Erlan coming in.
Oh my goodness, because of that built 2 kills, Erlan has a Sky Piercer already.
Yeah. No stacks on it just yet, but he decided to go for the rush, didn't build the boots. He went for the Jerkin, then the Fury Hammer, and then the Sky Piercer.
So, is he caught with his pants down right there? Good collection for King Kong. Really needed some injection of gold, and the rest of EVOS wasn't really in position. I think he was trying to guard the jungle for Albert, so bit of a loss. But still, the two main cores of EVOS, they were the ones that got the early kills. Key not in range for the Tsunami Slam. Good crowd control chain by Brusco and Super Friends, and Key will not commit. But Albert is around. Let's purify out for Super Friends. Albert, not enough damage to get the kill yet.
Yeah, the little pick off in the mid lane messed up the rotation of EVOS a little bit, forgoing any control and security in their side lanes, allowing King Kong and Kirk to make work on the tower up top, get a bit of gold from the shield, while Kelra also got some gold through the shielding in the bottom lane as Erlan went to the mid lane to get a little bit more damage pumped out of them. Sohilo, though, now able to build up the glowing wand. First item locked in. See what he's going to be going for his full build boots. There is a rare tendency, though, for some mid laners to just forgo full building the boots and then rushing into the second item right away for an immediate spike. But let's see if that'll be the option for Sohilo.
Brusco is already so low, and the glowing wand makes it even harder for him to kind of find his way in. Randy can just stand there. Throne of Ruin gets used because King Kong walks in with the free turtle because Albert wasn't there. They will have to sacrifice Brusco, and that's the first Sky Piercer stack for Erlan.
Lance just doing the expected responsibility of a roamer there. Win for ONIC PH, but had to do so through a trade, and if they're not careful, that one stack is immediately going to go up the 20s into the 30s, something they don't want to allow, and chain together the lineup of EVOS, again with a Suyo in the jungle, actually accents or accessorizes very well with the power spike that you can get through a Granger, getting a lot of stacks.
That's AOG in for Brusco. Should be able to walk away this time. Gets caught by the RWM, but no follow-up from EVOS. And I mean, quite a response, right? EVOS, they get the flicker out from Suelo. I honestly thought that Key would commit a tsunami slam, but he still is holding on to that.
Yeah, Erlan now essentially double laning, spending a lot of time going to the mid, getting resources there. Maybe if they could get a team fight win. Kelra using that time to push to the tower in the bottom lane and get farm on his own there. Although Erlan will have the slight EXP lead because of the turtle advantages that EVOS have been getting. Turn in the bottom is gonna go down, and ONIC is just gonna trade for it with their own push up top.
Third turtle spawning in the top side of the map again, so taking down the top tier 1 definitely does benefit ONIC more than it does EVOS, at least at this point of time. But if anything, EVOS has been also managing the side lanes quite well. I think it doesn't really threaten ONIC PH too much yet, and Tikuras now out for Brusco, so that should help him deal with Erlan a bit better.
Key gets the info that the members of ONIC PH are closer to their own orange buff. Rendy already holding the left mid bush. And with the orange buff now getting taken by King Kong, we're going to be seeing a full 5v5. We'll be able to get there very quickly. It is Expanding River, so let's see who'll get this one.
Rendy gets brought back into a taunt. Does use the Throne of Ruin. The damage reduction enough. He flickers to get a 3-man control. Still ends up going down though. Brusco in dangerous territory. Good final slash from Kirk. And that's the response we want from ONIC Philippines. A full-on wipeout.
Just like that, shades of what happened in the previous series. This time around, it's in the previous game. This time, it's ONIC Philippines finding a sudden swing through a wipeout, and you're really seeing here the value of the Arlot and Claude together up against a lineup, playing around an Eve to start things off. Rendy, excellent use of the flicker though, to still be able to get that control. But at that point, they were just a little bit too spread out to really make the most out of it. And Suelo putting his real-world manipulation down in a spot that I'm not the biggest fan of there. Could have been a little bit better, maybe a little bit closer towards the back, towards that golem. Still would have been able to get some few hits in, and at the same time, supplement an escape. The fact that he put himself so close to the other members of ONIC meant that it was way too easy for Kelra to just BMI in and Blazing Duet down on the Eve.
There's really no way out for EVOS too. They came in with the idea that they want to jump ONIC from that mid bush, but then they don't really have a way out. This lineup not the best at disengaging once you sort of full commit. And even for Albert too, I thought he would have been able to do a bit more damage to help out Erlan. And losing some of those stacks is gonna hurt this Granger a little bit. AOG used by Brusco. ONIC Philippines look for the bottom tier 2. Erlan should be able to clear it out with the Death Sonata. EVOS cutting their losses.
As it stands, it looks like we're going to be going all the way here in this best of 5 lower bracket finals. 2 a.m. almost in GMT plus 8. Almost 1 a.m. if you're in GMT minus 7. Oh, not minus 7. Plus 7, excuse me. Towards our Indonesian fans out there. Again, thank you so much for everyone still sticking around with us here at Cyber Hero. Winter is coming. ONIC Philippines look like they will be able to get the floor without that much of a contention from EVOS. Unless they can get here just in time. Can they pierce the front line?
And Rendy is going to make the initiative. King Kong with the secure. Another Blazing Duet final slash. Look at the damage. Suelo just removed from the fight. Kelra doing everything right. Another 3 down for EVOS. I think this game, Renmar, it is his ONIC PH hands. I think EVOS probably missed their timings already.
ONIC Philippines, Kirk also had the perfect positioning with that final slash once the other members of EVOS were close enough to potentially threaten. After the initial entry of Rendy, a final slash stopped them in their tracks. ONIC on the way to forcing game number 5. $100,000 prize pool, 10,000 for 4th place. 20,000 and 30,000 for 3rd place and 2nd place respectively, but they want to make it to the grand finals first before thinking about that moolah. Lord marching in, EVOS, let's see how they'll be able to defend this. They do have an even Granger with them.
Things spiraling out of control. The Throne of Ruin damage reduction just gets chewed through by King Kong. He will still save the top inhibitor, although there is a fresh wave coming in, and without Randy, it's a 4v5. And on the Philippines comes in with the AOG. Brusco still grabs Key. Key's gonna grab him back underneath the turret. Brusco will go down, and that's Sky Piercer to Erlan, but at the cost of an inhibitor in the top lane. So still a win for ONIC.
5-1 and over Erlan, but the other members of EVOS have not been having that great a time after the big losses that they have suffered. Now ONIC Philippines still, because of the Claude and Arlot, every time their formation gets instantly broken, even if Randy can easily access the back line, easily access Super Friends, it's really just Super Friends and maybe even King Kong that he can get, as Kelra is going to use that time to dive forward and look for the Eve to Blazing Duet in, while at the same time Kirk also locked in, looking at the back line to find a slash.
This is already quite a tough game for Suelo because of a Gatot and the Claude, particularly the Claude. But now you have to contend with Kirk just jumping you, and Kelra, once he gets the Blazing Duet onto you, it's just 100-0. And that's why the position that you did point out is so important for Suelo. And the fight that led to that initial wipeout was just Suelo caught in a bad spot, but he hasn't been able to find a comfortable position to plant himself for a full RWM, and I think that is gonna keep haunting him because of how far ONIC PH are ahead. AOG comes in, Randy gets caught, and he's gone.
That is it. Unless a miracle comes in for EVOS, and ONIC PH are going to be all the way to forcing Game 5. Here's the conceal.
And they are just 4-minute final slash. Kirk, the architect, sets it up for ONIC Philippines. And you're damn right, Renmar. I think a Game 5 is in order. The EVOS have basically exhausted all of their options, and from this point onwards, it's the ONIC show, man. It's ONIC time.
What a play by Kirk. King Kong, Brusco, Kelra, and Super Friends, the conceal of their own EVOS. Can they actually hold on?
One last attempt, a slam from the spear of Kirk sets up for Super Friends to take them all down, and ONIC Philippines takes us the full